Simon Davis with It's a Fencer's Life, Lessons from the Trenches.
Welcome back to A Fencer's Life. This is Simon and Lessons from the Trenches. And today I just want to quickly talk to you about procedures or the processes versus policy, and something that's very important in your business. And why, I hear you ask, and it's because it stops a lot of nonsense that goes on in the background. And I can attest to this because for years I never had these. Little things like job descriptions and for different types of people in your business, from admin to managers to labourers to storemen, something that I've used a lot of now. And when I talk about a job description, it doesn't have to be an in-depth, this is what you do, this is how you do it. This is just a policy to give you some roles and responsibilities for your staff member to work on and grow themselves in that role. So the processes are different. Processes are how you do the job, and that is normally comes from a lot of on-ground training. But with your job descriptions, I've got one here that I'll read out. But it's basically very, very similar to, as I said, just you go through key tasks, you go through responsibilities and some specific criteria that they may need for the job. So this is a fencing labourer, one that we've written up. Very, very simple. I like to keep things as simple as possible because it makes life a bit unruly sometimes, but some of the key tasks, for example, could be undertake tasks associated with fencing installation as required by the company, the brand, or who we're working for, or by your own brand company. As directed, prepare sites, source correct material, and install fencing and associated requirements per specifications and standards. So use correct tools and planned. Undertake the tasks associated with rural and commercial, residential, and the utility range of installations, repairs, and maintenance that we do, and complete work to a specific standard. So they're just some key tasks that you can get your basic labourers to do, and who they then have to sort of report to. We'll get under that. Their responsibilities. Under instruction and using supplied materials, construct fencing, ensure work is completed, cleaned up, remaining plant not utilised, put away, communication, personal presentation and equipment and site maintenance to your company's expectations, and support other staff and subbies as required with deliveries and fence installations. So there's two main points there that you can give a newcomer: key tasks and responsibilities. So one, you have to do basically what we're here to do. You can't sort of just go off and do your own thing, and you have to undertake the tasks that are required for this specific job. And your responsibility to make sure we're using the right materials, we're constructing the fence in the best possible manner, we're ensuring the work site is cleaned and cleaned up after we've finished the job, and the remaining plant not utilised is put away, things like that. Okay. Then we just go through specific criteria, a few little things. So the skills are that you actually have the capacity to complete the work. That's one that I think a lot of fences we sort of miss, because a lot of blokes we hire, we get so busy we just hire people for the fact of hiring people to fill specific roles, but there is not really a specific role for them. If you can understand where I'm coming from there, we get so busy and tied up fencing, and our business is growing, and we're lacking staff. So we basically take the first person that comes along, and they don't necessarily have the skills or the stamina or the fitness level to do what we have to do all day, every day. they have to have the capacity to work independently, but also part of a team. So that's a big one for you guys who are have teams. They've got to be able to do their own thing away from the team, but they also have to be part of the team and help manage that sort of flow area in the team, if you know what I mean. So I've seen plenty of times that we have had people come in who are brilliant in the team but can't work on their own. And I've seen other people that are brilliant on their own but can't work inside the team. Too much drama, there's too much conflict, there's too much angst, and the balance gets put off and people get cranky, and then everything sort of goes pear-shaped on that. The knowledge of the requirements of the broad range of fencing activities, so that is pretty handy to have as a labourer. Like if you're doing rural fencing, that you've got a labourer that sort of knows a little bit about rural fencing or residential fencing or colourblind or whatever you're doing, that helps a lot for self-esteem as well for the labourer. But people who are willing to learn, I don't mind that one being a little bit grey. So I'd rather take somebody on who has no experience in that field, in my specific field, and train them to the way that I want to do that, than rather than have somebody who comes in and doesn't work to our systems, who thinks they know better. And I'm all for sitting back and taking advice of people as well and seeing if they've got new ways. But I've always tried to lead my blokes in a way that do it my way first, and then if you can come up with a better way, at least you can fall back onto a structured system that we know works because it's worked for 30 years. Qualifications are as acceptable to NCF, which was my company. North Coast Fencing is my company, I should say. So the qualifications for me could be driver's license, maybe forklift license, some skills on machinery or verification of competency on types of machinery. They're things that I need for my business to come in. As a labourer, not necessarily have to have those VOCs or anything, but definitely have to have a driver's license and be able to get transport and get to and from work willy-nilly, because I'm not a taxi. I'm not going to go running around the countryside picking people up. Pardon me. Personal qualities follow specific instructions. Quality communication, that's really key. Presentation. So I like to have my lads clean and tidy, not sort of, and I like to put them in uniform where I can, but if we don't have uniforms for a specific job or that time, or it might be the end of the year and everything's worn out, at least try and look respectable and clean. And the last one is be punctual, reliable, and have the capacity to respond to the needs of the business. That is a massive one for me. I like my boys to be punctual. I don't like them when they take their things on their own hat. Like we just had an incident here a couple of weeks ago where it was a Friday. We're having a half day anyway. We're having a maintenance day. And instead of the boys turning up at 7 o'clock, they decided to turn up at 8 o'clock. And no one let me know. So it's, hey, this is your start time. This is the roles. These are your responsibilities. Communication is one of them. If you had something on, at least let me know so we can work around things that way. And then reporting to the supervisor or your team leader or management as deemed. That's it. It's very, very simple. It's very easy. But having the key tasks, the responsibilities, and some specific criteria in the skills, knowledge, experience, qualifications, personal qualities, and who they report to is something that will help you along your journey with hiring people. Would be probably the first start, because you can have that as a flick and tick or tick and flick list, and you can go through and ask those specific questions in your hire and have a process around that around hiring, because it's another system on its own. But by doing that, when things do go a little bit sideways, you can sort of hold it up and go, hey, this is not acceptable. We've gone through this. And then, of course, you have to do brief interludes as a manager or as a business owner to see how your job reviews, I suppose. Has your company got room to move for that labour as he grows and becomes more skillful? Is there a way up for him to go up the ladder and things like that? And that's how you'll also hire better people as well. So you've got somewhere for them to move to. So that's a little bit about the processes and policies and how they can sort of help you in your business. And that's just a real good example of a job description, having that process, having that policy for the company, but then having a small little process that they can follow, makes your job so much easier. So the difference between a policy is the set of rules, basically, the guideline, and then the processes are how we do it. So I wanted to explain that to you today and let you know that it does. Not a lot of people, not a lot of the small business owners have these, and then they do come unstuck quite often that I've heard. And the people I've talked to have told me different stories on different things where they haven't had a policy in place, and it's cost them pretty dearly. So yeah, just wanted to run you through that. The other thing is we are 1 week off having the Australian Fencing Awards in Melbourne, 7th of March, down in Melbourne, as I said, and looking very excited to going to that. I'm looking forward to catching up with a heap of people. My company has been nominated in the finals for two segments, and one was glass pull fencing and one was rural fencing. So we're excited about that, to go down and see. We've become in the top 10 out of 300, I think, so over Australia wide, which is fantastic, and also been nominated for a personal one myself for Champions of the Industry. So that's really good. I'm excited about that. I like to know that our company's getting the recognition and the work that I do on the sidelines to help you guys try and move forward in your businesses, and is starting to get a bit of recognition, starting to gain a bit of traction. So that's a really good thing. The more traction we get, the more people I can sort of bring to the show, and we can talk about all types of fencings. It's a great industry to be in. I love it. It's hard work sometimes, but it's definitely very rewarding. You can see what you do at the end of each day, and if you find really good staff and really good men and women to support you, it can be very luxurious as well as you sort of build and grow. And not everybody wants to grow. That's cool. You can still make a very, very good living out of it, even if you're a solo entrepreneur. So that's it, guys. Hope to see some of you in Melbourne. I'm looking forward to it. That's it for today. Take it easy.